happened in the 90s.
Hey kids, follow the bouncing plate. Oink, oink, zoo pals. Buzz, buzz, zoo pals. Quack, quack, zoo pals. Zoo pals make eating fun. When you clean your plate, then you see their face. Hoot, hoot, zoo pals. Ribbit, ribbit, zoo pals. Woof, woof, zoo pals. Zoo pals make eating fun. Zoo pals.
You know, I don't, to me, if you're just asking me, I don't think that guy has anything, unless he really had some kind of personal vendetta against this chick that died. Like, I can't imagine he did. And if he, it just seems too odd. Really,
yeah, I mean,
crazy.
Like, if it was that, he's got the means to like make something happen without him being involved. I mean, I assume he's a pretty rich man. He's been around as long as I can remember in big time movies and shit.
Yeah, it's a wild one. I mean, of everything you thought, and my other thing I wonder is, do we see him act ever again? Because I mean, I don't necessarily know how much this tarnishes his reputation. Because I don't know if the general vibe is that he actually like did this on purpose, or to me, the only person to blame is whoever is the person who's like the gun wrangler on that movie set. Whoever that seems to be the person that fucked up the most from everything I've heard.
That was my immediate thought, man. Like, he shouldn't.
I mean, anyone who is in a managerial or like supervisor role on that set, they are the ones that are held accountable, especially whoever, because in any movie set, if there's a gun that they're firing, there's somebody that's like an expert that touches that's like
exactly
a security person.
His job is to act.
Yeah. I mean, he's just there. But the fact that it was even loaded and he was just fucking around with it while they weren't even shooting, like from what I heard, they were just like lining up shots and stuff. And he ended up shooting somebody and then shot two people. So it's almost like was there really a bullet in the gun? Because to me, even if it was like that Brandon Lee, the blank, there was some fuck up with the blank. To me, that killed Brandon Lee, but that's one guy. I don't see it like going through somebody and then hitting somebody else, because two people got shot. So
two people, yeah. The
guy
survived.
That's fucking weird. I mean, insane. And the other thing is, like, that movie now done. Like, that's done, right? There's no way they finish the fucking movie.
Yeah, because it's like, unless it's going to be something groundbreaking, no one is going, like, that's going to be the overarching cloud. Like, unless it's like the next Pulp Fiction or like the modern Gone with the Wind. Like,
if you wanted to be a scumbag and promote it, they would never do this. But they could tell you that the shot, if they filmed it, the shot that killed that person is like in the movie, and they're like, go see the shot that like was part of this insane thing that happened. But that's not gonna happen.
Maybe if this was the 90s, man, like people would give a fuck, I don't know, for shock value, kind of like Blair Witch. I don't know. Then again,
I mean, they did release the Crow movie after Brandon Lee got killed. I mean, he got killed on the fucking set.
I was just thinking that, and it's like, come watch the movie where Bruce Lee's son died.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, in the movie, I love that movie, but it is weird that like you're watching a movie where this dude literally lost his life, making this fucking movie. It's kind of wild, but who knows, man? That's just why it's just weird. And it's also weird. It's Alec Baldwin, to me, he has been like a dramatic actor, but he also has like a lot, in my memory, a lot of these like funny comedic moments, especially on SNL and shit. It's just, what a bizarre fucking, of course, in the shit, like couple of years that we've had, that's just another L that society took. Alec Baldwin, done, gone.
Canceled. And it doesn't help that he was like a Trump impersonator for like his whole term. And now this is just like a glory day for fucking all of the Trumpers. Like, yeah, let's see who's laughing now.
I mean, honestly, that shit's like, anybody that makes money off that Trump dude at all, like you got to stink on you, dude. You can't that shit puts a curse on you. Everybody around that dude that made money with him, they're all going down. Alec Baldwin, I mean, he was fucking with the dude, but the same respect, he was still sort of, putting a kind of positivity with Trump's name because everybody liked watching him on SNL and shit. I mean, who knows, dude?
I appreciate because I've seen better impersonations, but what made his great is that it was just so over the top. Like all of the little mannerisms, he just played it up a notch, man.
That's what I was going to say. He nailed I honestly don't even think he did nail it too. I mean, he did do a little bit of a caricature, but he just knew those little fucking intricacies that makes Trump, you know?
Mm-hmm. Now, the current guy, I don't know if you've seen any of this season, man, but the current guy they have, like, he is spot on. He is kind of like, who was the longtime guy that played Clinton and Gore and shit?
Daryl Hammond.
He's like the Daryl Hammond when it comes to that. And now that's the only impersonation I've seen him do. I don't know his name, but he's brand new. And the dude killed, like, damn, I could watch this motherfucker do this every episode.
They fucked up. I'll tell you this. You remember that guy, Shane Gillis, that they hired and then summarily fired because he said some fucked up shit on a podcast?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that guy's a funny ass comedian, but his Trump, he has a fucking web series called Gilly and Keeves, and they fucked with Trump a lot, and he played Trump. They fucked up, dude. They had a perfect Trump impersonator that they fired because of that shit.
Well,
but yeah,
watch
dude,
the current guy. Watch the guy that they.
I just can't get into the new SNLs, dude. Every time I watch one, it's like I'll get a good one. And then I'll watch 8 other ones and they suck, you know. Is Keenan on it still? Because I mean, he was still on it, right? Okay,
yeah. What you need to do, Matt, is let go of the past. I really feel like, man, you're waiting for Will Ferrell to come through that door, the next Chris Farley.
Don't get me wrong. There's been things I love. I mean, the digital shorts and stuff I think are weird, and they found like a cool thing. Michael Che and what's his face? They're good on Weekend Update.
Probably, if not my favorite rendition of Weekend Update, they're up there because they have a dope chemistry, and it's gotten to the point where they have gone outside of that show and made it like they were in WrestleMania. They had a match with somebody. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Like that kind of shit.
Dude. It's cool. I mean, they definitely have made the most of that shit too. You know, they've more than anybody put like a stamp on that show. They've done a lot of crazy shit on that you really haven't seen in a long time. But I don't know if they're my favorite, but they definitely are up there for sure.
And they love some Kate McKinnon. I don't get it. Like, she's not bad. She's got moments, but like, damn, like they're making her to be like Sherry O'Terry and I fucks with Kristen Wiig. Like, those are 2 of the funniest to me, man. But Kate McKinnon, like, I don't know. She all right.
She has her moments. I mean, I don't know. She's like quirky and shit, but they definitely do like they lean on her a lot. They're really just juicing that lemon for all they can, you know.
And Pete, I can't even. Don't get me started on Pete. That's another. He's like the Roman Reigns of SNL. Like, why is he still here?
I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. I honestly feel like his popularity is because he's just this weird white boy that has a giant cock and is just fucking all these like celebrities. And somehow he got into that world. And now he's like popular and famous because, I mean, he has a great story. But I don't get it, Steve. He's funny in times, but I don't get the love of, he's about to be like at a Kanye level, basically.
I mean, he's taking his leftovers, which shit, I'm a Kim K fanatic. By the way, her episode was good.
Kim K's?
Yeah, like because everybody who's like anti-Kardashian, they wanted her to fail. And like, I just wanted to watch. I fucks with the Kardashian family and like, she delivered that shit. Like even in the monologue, they said that she rehearsed that shit like a bunch of times before it went to air. And it showed because like she delivered her lines. She had the timing and like even her family got involved. Like Chloe and the mom was in some skits, man.
I mean, that whole empire started with her. I mean, I'm not going to say she was the mastermind, but all of it started, with her and Ray J in a hotel room. So if it wasn't for that fateful night, I don't think Kim K would have made it to SNL.
If I had one wish,
Dude, but hey, I'm not surprised. She's a success at everything. So I'm happy. I don't hate Kim Kardashian. I'm not a huge fan, but
I'm a super fan. I mean, not enough to watch the show. I haven't watched one episode of the shit, but like, I just think the women are gorgeous. I think the mom is a boss bitch, and shit, they got a story. I mean, like, for obvious reasons. I mean, let's not even get started on I'm not black, I'm OJ. And
I just feel well, I mean, there's that, but I just feel like they just find successful men, and like a Lamar Odom, for example, they come in at the height of their success, and then at some point they're like tossed to the side like a shell of what they formerly were. And I feel like there's some like vampiric shit going on with the Kardashians. Not saying they are vampires, but there's a term called succubus, and I just feel like maybe that's what we're dealing with here, Steve.
Think about it, man. They're richer than all of the dudes that they were like seen with, man, except for maybe Kanye. I mean, with that exception. No,
I mean, they're rich. Put it that way.
They bred it up, dog.
Oh man, but yeah, SNL. I don't know. I'll go with you. I think you are right. There is a sense that like you put a little too much on it now, and you expect too much. But if it's a Keenan sketch, he's got some hitters. I like Kate McKinnon. I like a lot of the people on the show. So you're right. I got to give it a shot. I haven't watched it in a while.
And I usually don't even pay attention to Weekend Update. Like over the years, I skip, but like I actually sit and watch the whole thing now, man, because they got good rapport, Jost and Che, and they're like rapid, man.
I think also that show lends itself to YouTube. It's sketches. It's like little one-offs. You can cut them up. You can put them on YouTube, and that's where I usually see fucking Weekend Update and stuff. A lot of that stuff. I think they've gotten a little more pull because of YouTube, because you can actually like not stay up, watch it. You can watch it on Hulu if you want, but then, they'll put it on YouTube. And I think a lot of like younger people, especially like have maybe glommed onto SNL more than they would because of that. So, just a little theory of mine.
And, I had a public viewing of my Two Dads parody, and it was received well by the general public. And I think this is going to streamline me into my new parody series, and it's going to be a gangbang series titled Dickelodeon.
Okay. I like that.
One of the first of many is going to, you remember Doug?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I got Stacey Keenan from My Two Dads. Yeah, she's coming back. She was such a success. She's found a new career, and she is going to be in the Doug remake, Doug Out. And
nice.
She'll be Patty Mayonnaise, and the subtitle is Mr. Dink, a wild boy. That's it's Doug Out. Mr. Dink, a wild boy. I gotta
say, Doug's characters lend themselves to porno because Skeeter, you don't even have to change the name. Patty Mayonnaise makes a lot of sense. Doug Out, I'm in, dude. I mean, all the Nickelodeon like properties from our childhood could be turned into pornos without really even changing the name. Pete and Pete, gay porno. Pete or Pete in Pete. There's a different version of it. There it is right there.
Wienerville.
All scat instead of all that. I mean, did we just think of another $1 million idea? This is just
like you're said,
welcome,
Matt,
guys.
The titles sell themselves. Wienerville will be the next gangbang series.
Wiener. Who was the fucking mastermind of that shit show? Wienerville, Steve?
The comedian Mark Wiener himself. Yes.
Boy, Mark Wiener. Was that his real name, Steve?
That was his real name, but it's spelled, I don't know, like German.
Are we thinking it's more of a whiner, possibly?
Yeah, but for the sake of Nickelodeon, Nick, there were like little thumb puppets and shit. And he's actually going to play Mr. Dink. Hey, Douglas, we're gonna run a train on Patty Mayonnaise.
Come into my shed, Douglas. I got something
Mr.
to tell you real quick.
You a wild boy, Mr. Dink.
Hey, Douglas, is this your gum? Mr. Dink, that's your damn ball sack.
And what was his best friend's name? Skeeter?
Yeah.
It sells
Patty
itself.
Mayonnaise. Is this a Bukkake video?
Well, that's the sequel.
What was the goddamn bully's name?
Roger
Kloss.
Yeah. What you doing, funny?
Roger Cum Shots.
Wow.
I mean,
Whoa.
guy.
What was his? Yeah.
Can we get Hollywood porno execs on the phone right now with this concept? Because I feel like I'd watch.
And for a very exclusive behind the scenes extended clips, we're going to have some pork chop skits, some pork chop scenes. Yeah.
Alex up the crack. I mean, she turns into a puddle of cum, Steve. So, I mean, is she just like a bust puddle at this point?
Speaking of puddles of cum, remember You Can't Do That on Television? They always had the magic. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, instead of green slime, it will be buckets of cum.
I mean, you could just say the porno could be called You Can't Do That on Television. It's just a normal porno because you can't.
Yeah,
you can't. That's why I don't watch sitcoms anymore. That's why I don't watch NBC, Steve, because I can't watch full penetration. I need full penetration.
Oh,
like Dennis Reynolds.
And for you R. Kelly purists, we'll have You Can't Do That on Television Golden Shower Edition as well.
Who would you do? Who would you do? Who would you do? Quack.
Mark Plumpers.
There you go.
Or Mark Plumpers.
How about Mark Pumpers?
Mark Pumpers.
There we go. See, these are ideas that are coming out like almost 100% fine tuned. This is already just a complete idea, Steve.
Boom, 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 boom. It's like jazz, baby. Boom.
I mean, who is gonna star in this, Steve? I mean, I can't fuck all these hot chicks. Okay, fine, I will.
Dickelodeon.
This is a fucking Pornhub channel, Steve. Dickelodeon.
Man, we are going to be the Steven Spielbergs of gangbang pornography. Just wait, you watch.
God, thank you. Finally, the success we've always wanted. Yes.
With SpaghettiOs pasta, your mouth will really rock. Once you get your lips around us, you know you'll be in trouble. Spaghetti, we're what your mouth dream about. Spaghetti, take it away.
Whoa.
Campbell's SpaghettiOs. Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, boys and girls, I heard that there's a podcast with two individuals named Steve G and Matt G, and apparently they're talking about things that happened in the 90s, and they call the show Happened in the 90s.
What's it called, Steve?
They call it Happened in the 90s, and they talk about things that happened in the 90s. Pretty redundant, but anyway, while they're doing that, get out your Michigan J Frog posters and your Dawson Creek t-shirts, because all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every scene. Happy in the 90s.
It's the bigger love of the 90s.
I used to think Louis Armstrong. Yeah, man, that was off the cuff, baby.
I like that.
Yeah, I ain't even have no lines. Yeah, that was just like, it sounds good. Let's roll with it.
That's why you're a pro, Steve.
I used to think the lyric was all I see is a tower of greens, like collard greens. As a kid, I thought that. It's like, why would this ABC TGIF show like have a reference of some soul food? Like this isn't BT. Dreams.
It's dreams, right?
Yeah.
Well, Steve, you could have a tower of greens. If you want. That's your dream.
I love me some collard greens, mustards too.
Well, days go by, Steve.
I used to think that was Louis Armstrong. It has a very loud Zatarans, baby.
Zatarans.
Yeah, that raspy Nolans. Yeah.
I didn't know who it was, but the guy's got fucking soul, Steve. The guy's fucking just killing it. Whoever was writing all the ABC sitcom theme songs, they annihilated at their job. I hope they're rich. They're probably not, but I mean, how many of those songs do you remember all the words? Even if it's a little off, even if you thought it was Tower of Greens, which is kind of fucking retarded, but
well, yeah. I mean, hey, this is the same kid who really thought that the world was black and white until color television existed. Like, oh yeah, now color. Sometime in the 1960s, then colors are like, oh, green and purple and like taupe. This is the same kid. I don't know. I had a wild imagination, or half retarded.
Right. Either or, it's okay.
Either or, yeah, it's the same.
You're all right.
Yeah, but this time around, we're going to be talking about all things January 20th in the fucking 90s. And we touch on SNL episodes here and there. And this is our first time, like, actually going through the skits. What a episode it is. It's the first time Christopher Walken hosts, and the musical guest is Bonnie Rait. I don't know much about her, but she was a big enough name in her field. So, I mean, for me to know as a kid, I remember seeing, I think I might have had a Bonnie Rait MTV trading card. Back when they had MTV trading cards, you could get a pack and it'll be Vanilla Ice and Public Enemy and I don't know, White Snake or some shit. Yeah,
wow,
it was the 90s. Yeah, you don't remember the MTV trading cards?
No, I didn't get those. I had a lot of weird like I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon trading cards and shit, but no MTV shit, Steve. No.
Yeah, it'll be like Dr. Dre and Ed Lover and fucking Poison or some shit.
I mean, I hope you find those someday. Bust those out. I want to see your Bonnie Rait trading card. I don't really know how to describe. I always like, this is just a stereotype that I've developed. She's the female honky tonk man.
Okay, so she's not country.
I mean, I feel like there's some like country in it. It's just like that kind of like whatever, like Garth Brooks shit. It's country, but it's just like fucking vanilla country shit.
Like a female Bob Seger. Like
she's
Bob
like,
Seger
Reba McEntire is?
Reba McEntire. And she's another big enough name I know about you.
Exactly. That's all you need to know. They sing some country songs, but they're just like, that might be the same woman. I can't even picture. I'm picturing one woman when I say those two names.
It's not my bag, but I pop my collar off to you, Bonnie. The cold opening is The Tonight Show, which I love. It's Mr. Carvey playing Johnny Carson and the late, great Phil Hartman playing Ed McMahon. Yes!
But he's not there, Steve. He ain't there that night because he's been fucking...
tipping him back, man. And he's being substituted by a machine recording of his voice. And the guests tonight are Andrew Dice Clay and Mikhail Gorbachev. And that's why Phil Hartman couldn't be there, because he's got to play Mikhail Gorbachev.
Yeah, right.
And that is correct, sir.
I like a John Lovitz, and I liked him as Andrew Dice, as like like TV appropriate Andrew Dice Clay. Hey!
Like the little mannerisms and shit, man. Jack and Jill went up the hill and they had intercourse. Hey.
Oh,
well, that is some weird and wild stuff indeed.
And every once in a while, this like speaker on the seat will be like, yes, yes, and it's almost like eerily like he's there, but he's not, because the speaker reacts to some shit every once in a while too. So it's pretty funny shit. I forgot about I didn't forget about him, but how much of a badass was Dana Carvey back in the 90s, dude? Just absolutely killing SNL.
Wayne's World.
How many of these fucking guys, like the recurring things, the Johnny Carson, the Ross Perot and shit, like Bush. How many of those was he doing? All that shit. Wayne's World. So many
church lady.
There you go. We can't even remember them all.
The Hans and Franz.
That is, I mean, keep going. There's more of that.
Well, my favorite of them all probably is the cantankerous old man, and he only showed up during weekend. Yeah. And we liked it. We loved it. We didn't have little fancy games like football. We just threw glasses at each other, and we liked it. And we were missing teeth, and we were bleeding from our foreheads and our ears, and we loved it.
Oh, and Phil Hartman's hilarious as Mikhail Gorbachev, who's on like a world tour just to get like shit on, basically. Seems like he's got like the here's what whenever you think of Mikhail Gorbachev, what do you think of first, Steve? Exactly. And they got it. They nailed it.
Yeah, man. And I mean, I knew about that as a second grader. Because of that, like nobody else had, like that was his thing.
Yeah, hell yeah. I also like that in this, he like Mikhail Gorbachev brings a clip like a celebrity and they show it, but it's just cops beating fucking like people that are protesting and shit.
Is that Azerbaijan?
Yeah.
Like he kept saying that.
Weird. Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan. And he's basically like on a world tour to beg and plead all these other countries, because I think the story at this time was there was a lot of countries that were part of the Soviet Union that were trying to leave. So in this skit, he's like going on a world tour to beg these countries to stay in the Soviet Union and shit. It's very hilarious. Very early 90s too.
Yeah, it's super. I mean, it's a fresh decade. I think this is only the second episode of the decade, and like that's the hot topic of the day, man. You know, he had just brought the wall down. That was a thing, and I think Gorbachev actually brings in the Live from New York at Saturday Night Live. Yeah, and what they don't show you in the Peacock re-airs is the monologue. This is an episode where they skip that, and it's basically Christopher Walken. Commenting on how audiences just say all his characters come off cold and sinister in movies. And he says that it often sounds like he's reading his lines off of cue cards. And it's funnier in hindsight, considering that's what he was known for every time he'd go on SNL. You know, he was a good host, but, you know, there would be skits would be so obvious. And even in this episode, man, he shows that.
Yeah, this one, I got to say, man, when we said I picked it because it was Christopher Walken, because he has so many great SNL moments, so many cool characters because he was on so much. This one, I gotta say, Steve, little disappointing, but I gotta say, like Peacock, I don't like that you can't see them. They'll take the monologue out. That's a big part of the show, you know.
Yeah, I want to see Christopher Walken in his top hat doing his little fucking dance or whatever shit.
And honestly, I don't, you know. No disrespect to Bonnie Rait. Bonnie, I love you. If you're listening, I love you.
Keep the Bonnie Rait.
Keep it in. I don't give a fuck about Bonnie Rait, but keep the musical guests in. There's no reason for the record companies or anyone to not allow that if that's the reason that they don't include it. Because that was my thing when I said something to Kendra. I was like, why wouldn't they show the musical guests? And in my head, I was like, well, maybe it's like a rights thing or some shit.
That's totally what it is, man. But for some reason, yeah, like you're able to see like the last 5 to 10 seasons with the whole episode. Like they even did that on Hulu, where like the previous several decades or several seasons, like you're able to see like the musical guests and everything. But I guess there's like a cutoff or something.
Makes no sense. And if from a money-making perspective, if I'm a record executive that has Bonnie Rait's record catalog, please, by all means, keep it into the videos that people stream, because maybe some kid will watch SNL randomly, see Bonnie Rait and want to go listen to Bonnie Rait. You know, there's no reason to keep that off. But I just thought, I don't really give a fuck about the musical guest in this case, but I did think it was weird that it might not have been a stellar monologue, but you got to keep those in there. You know, there's so many of the episodes. That's the way it starts. You know, other than the cold opening, the guy coming out and doing whatever he does. Maybe he does a stupid Q&A thing. Maybe he does a stand-up, whatever it is. To me, that's a huge part of each episode. You know, that's a huge thing for the guests.
I'm holding out hope that someday there will be a release of full seasons, full episodes and full seasons, man.
And even the ones that they took away, like the Martin Lawrence episode, which is so hard to watch anyway because it was banned or whatever, like show it.
Yeah.
What's the point now? Like everybody knows what's up. They used to show that shit, dude. They used to show that shit. And at some point they just cut it off, but show everything. Let us see the musical guest, because not only, maybe you find a new artist from back in the day that you never knew about, but it's also just weird. It's cool to see how like the look of the show and seeing these people, like the musical guests that were popular in 1990. It's like, nobody really thinks about that now. Just a cool time capsule thing.
And next we have the colon blow. This is a return. Not the first time, but Phil Hartman, and he's just like sitting on a pile of bowls of colon blow.
And the narrator's like, do you know how many bowls of your brand cereal it would take to match one bowl of colon blow? And Phil Hartman's like, 2? No. 18? No. Turns out, Steve, 30,000 bowls. And this like pyramid forms of bowls of cereal. And I have to say, this may be the most memorable commercial parody of all time for SNL.
It
at least
stands
for me.
out.
Because this is one forever. I mean, till this day, I remembered. I mean, this is one of my favorites.
Schlitzgay is pretty hilarious. I don't think that ever gets old.
On top of the world.
Dude.
Oh man. But then there's you can even get super colon blow, Steve. So you can really blow it out too. But just another thing to see Phil Hartman. That's why I love watching these old SNLs too, because that to me, one of the goats of 90s comedy, period.
Sure. No doubt, man. And the next is we have a parody game show called Eternity, and it's Calvin Klein inspired. I remember the advertisements that they used to do where they would be so ambient, and they would have like a background of clouds, and the models would say little to nothing, just leave a lot to the imagination, and just like that whole just very sinewy and Chloe Sevigny.
I mean, even to this day, if you watch Hulu, invariably at some point there's just going to be a commercial that comes up where there's like two beautiful people running through a desert, and some song like ha, and it's just like it's Serenity by Dush Dost. It's like, okay, every time you see that, it's like that's a perfume commercial. It has to be ridiculous. So
some Fabio looking motherfucker running through the desert.
Just like slow-mo hair blow scenes and shit. Like it's still like that. So
like, how did you get here? Like who came with you? And where your shirt at?
It's always like a guy coming up out of the water, like with like a dude. It's always the same, but this is weird, Steve. This was the one where I was like, what is the fucking point of this? And essentially, this is what appears to be a game show for suicidal people.
Well, I think they kept this on ice for Christopher Walken because this is perfect for his character. I mean, this is just right up his fucking wheelhouse. You have stolen myself and left me empty. Fill me. Like that's how he talks. He says that type of shit. Speaks in parables.
Yeah, and Juliet, who is the woman there, she doesn't even speak the whole time. She's always just like, just sad and very stoic. But Christopher Walken is constantly, like you said, giving these like insane, just like what sound to be like deep, like philosophical answers. They're just very weird.
I have become you and you me. When I look at you, I see myself. Help me, destroy me, become me, until there is nothing left of me, nothing left of you.
And
that's how he talks.
And then we get to Final Eternity, which is like Final Jeopardy in this show. It's called Final Eternity is the Unforgiving Abyss. And the question is, you're hot and your lover's not. What do you say to them to let them know how you feel. And Werner, who is Christopher Walken, it just shows a picture of the screaming man. He loses everything and is left with nothing. And that's his answer, I believe.
Yeah.
Juliet, her answer is, the more I love, the more I become myself. Is this desire or is this prison? And it's just like their answers are the equivalent of those perfume commercials that we just described. They're insane. Yeah. They make no sense. They're weirdly poetic. But, you know, Werner was the returning champion to this weird game show. But with that very weird answer, that Juliet character, she wins. She's the new champion, Steve. So, yay, she's going to kill herself.
Yeah. And shout out to Jan Hooks, man. Not enough credit as a comedic actress, man, but she held it down in a really good cast.
Yeah, hell yeah. She's one of those. It's her. What was the black chick's name during this time? You know who I'm talking about, though.
Ellen Cleghorn.
Yeah, she was another one. She's one of those that's kind of like goes under the radar. In fact, I think she might be actively like say like she didn't really enjoy her time at SNL, I believe. But I always thought she was fucking hilarious.
It's not for everybody, man. I mean, Chris Rock, he's like one of my favorites, man. And like, he really didn't enjoy his because he was underutilized. And he ended up going to In Living Color.
I mean, the ones that the ones he did, it's wild that they didn't utilize him as much because when he knocked it out of the park, like the Nat X show and shit, it was just so like wild, but it was so good. They kept it coming back and shit. So.
And up next, we got Weekend Update. And probably one of my least favorite hosts of this bit that's not named Chevy Chase. It's our buddy Dennis Miller, babe. And I will say this. He starts off laying into the crack head like mayor or whatever. And like those he got some hits, but I like to think those shits were written by him.
I mean, the one he says where he's like, I wonder if Marion Barry's watching this right now. He's like, yeah, he definitely is. He's up late. Or he says it's something like that.
Yeah. He didn't write that. No, because that's too clever.
Yeah, babe. Hey, babe. I don't know. It's funny. The longer you go, like the longer we go, the lower and lower he gets. He was never one of my favorites. Never. Norm Macdonald's my favorite.
Mine too. Yeah.
And then I think like my hierarchy is Norm Macdonald, Kevin Nealon, and then it's Michael Che and Colin Jost or Colin Quinn.
People sleep on Colin Quinn.
I just thought it like the way he did it, like he didn't always get the most laughs, but he was fucking like the shit was fucking funny, dude. And he's a great comedian, so he would like make light of the fact that he wasn't getting like laughs, you know.
Well, he started off in the hole, man, and like it's like imagine playing shooting guard for the Chicago Bulls in '94.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And he commented on that in his first Weekend Update. He kind of made a reference to it. This was like the first week after Norm had got fired, and I can't remember how he exactly put it, man, but he definitely had mentioned it, man.
That's shout out to Colin. Dude. That shit is tough. But Dennis Miller, I don't know. He's just one of those guys. It's like Dennis Leary too, where it's like they had this like huge stature in the 90s. And I don't know. I was never the biggest fan, but they were just huge back then, you know? And for me, the longer you go from SNL, the less I even remember he even did that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like right time, right place.
I also thought it was weird. This is just because I sidetracked Sally a little bit. I like the documentary. They mentioned the death of that Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh guy, that Osho dude from, did you watch that documentary, Wild Wild Country?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude, if you like documentaries, it's about this cult that existed like in the 80s in the Oregon, like somewhere in the fucking boondocks in Oregon. But this guy, this like Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh dude, they also called him Osho. He was just like one of those like guru dudes. And he got all these people on board. It was a cult. They actually bought all this land in Oregon and made like their own commune that was very successful. And like, but then it got like so big that like they started like trying to do like assassination attempts and shit. It was, dude, insanity. But I just thought it was cool because they actually mentioned that guy dying. The dude, I can't believe you haven't watched that. That was one of those pandemic documentaries that came out that I thought everybody watched.
Where do you even get it? Is it Netflix?
Yeah, it's called Wild Wild Country. Dude, watch it tonight. You're gonna love it.
I will.
It's so good. Man. If you like things about cults, because it's really like a cult thing. He's like one of those Indian gurus, and he's like got big in the 70s. And then he just got so big, like, dude, they got so big, they were bussing in homeless people and saying, like, as long as you fucking live here and like, follow our rules, you can just live here free of charge. It was crazy, dude. And then it gets into like people getting fucked and people getting like trying to get assassinated and shit. It's wild.
But the rules were you had to do some devious things, I'm guessing. I
mean, for the most part, the people in the people in the upper echelon. There's like a lady who was like his right hand, and I can't remember her name. She's cutthroat, dude. She gets people to try to kill like senators, and they try to kill like Congress people and shit, because really it's like every cult. They're trying to get a bunch of people's money, and they get so big, like I think they try to get like tax exempt. There's all these like political things they're trying to do because they get like huge, dude. They bought hundreds of acres of land in Oregon and just created like this. I mean, some people would call it a utopia, but it's just like hippies fucking and like farming and, doing all the hippie shit. But behind the scenes, like this one dude and a few people are just getting loaded, dude.
Dude, you got me sold, man.
You got to watch it.
And our next skit, Jan Hooks is back. She's with Nora Dunn, who's showing up for the first time in this episode, and they're in a skit called Attitudes. It's a talk show it's a talk show sports event, and they're interviewing Rainbow Head, played by Christopher Walken. I think it's the actual Rainbow Head guy that would show up at like riots or whatever. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, man. And this is pretty funny because he breaks character a couple times and he's trying to keep straight face. It's Christopher Walken, so him breaking straight face is pretty rare. Yeah. And especially when he called the San Diego chicken a whore. I can't. If I could do an impersonation of him, man, like it sells it. The impersonation with him saying a chicken is a whore.
I can't. I was trying to figure out an impersonation before we recorded, Steve, and the only thing I can kind of say like him is his line from Pulp Fiction, where he's like, "Up my ass." That's it.
And that's the line of all the lines of Christopher Walken. That's the one. Okay,
that's it, dude.
There you go.
That's all I got. But he plays Rainbow Head. He's kind of pissed off in this episode because, all these other, I guess, like mascots and like whatever street performing, like, people in costumes, they're ruining his good name, Steve.
Yeah, they're all getting attention, trying to grab for some attention. So what did he do? He decided, I'm going to get a rainbow colored Afro wig. Afro-Americans.
And a John 3:16 shirt, Steve.
Yeah.
Pre-Austin. Yeah, I was about to say. And it's just, it's a very to me, I was just like off put by this sketch. It's just very weird.
Well, I was off foot by the beginning because Jan Hooks says it's a great decade and who knows what the future will have in store. Well, Steve G is from the future, and I'm telling you in 1990 that your cohort, Nora Dunn, will be walking off the set and leaving her job in about 5 months because of the Iceman cometh. Oh!
Yeah. But it's a weird one. But then we get to an even weirder one, which is this Linda and David office sketch that we get to. And what is the woman's name who's the main character of this?
Victoria Jackson.
Yeah, she's the main character. She's Linda. And she's working at an office, and a young, spry Mike Myers is like working with her. He's like, Linda, like, you just got it all. Like, what's going on here? It's very, he's just like into it. Linda's a cool chick.
You got a glow.
And it's really because Linda says her new boyfriend, David, he just does all the little things. He buys me flowers. He'll send me a limo. You know, it's David's. He's just lighting up my life.
It's the little things.
And then there in walks Christopher Walken. Oh, what is it, Steve? What is it, Linda?
He's the dumper. That's what he does. He's the dumper. And he's a professional dumper. He'll give you notice. If you pay the right price, he might console you and hug you and wipe some tears off your cheek. But that's what he does. He lets people down.
I'd pay. I needed this guy. You know, it's hard to dump somebody. So he walks in, he's looking great. He almost has like a lawyer. He's almost like giving you a subpoena. You know, he's just a lawyer. He's very matter of fact. And he informs her that, you know, David, you can't be here right now, but
you'll let go.
Yeah. Time to pack it up. David's got to move on. He's very sorry. And he opens his briefcase. And, you know, not only is David giving her this like nice man to break up with her for him, he has a frame picture that she can smash. So that's free of charge. Smash that with his hammer.
Yeah.
And he also he'll let her have the handkerchief, but if she uses it, she has to pay the cleaning fee. But he's got it because she's getting a little verklempt, Steve.
Yeah.
And then, you know, basically emotionless. I mean, Christopher Walken's playing like a robot at this point. You know, he dries her eyes. He does the hammer smash. He actually pulls out a tape recorder and he's like, go ahead, vent. Tell David what you feel about him. I'll take the recording and he'll listen to it later. You know, it's very busy. David must be a success, man. Who is this? Hasselhoff? Duchovny?
You know, I think it was her voice that did it.
Yeah.
David was like, yeah, fuck this shit.
Steve. Victoria Jackson, she's pretty she's stacked.
Yeah, she was a looker, man. And until later in the 2000s when I started seeing her appear on Fox News a lot. And I'm like, oh,
wait, what?
Yeah, she's one of those.
Oh, Vicky, come on. Well, it's a good thing David dumped you then, bitch.
Yeah. It's good that she's got a lackluster career. I think that was the bad luck when she broke that fucking glass frame. Here's decades of nothingness after you leave the show.
I mean, she signed the fucking contract, Steve. It's done.
Yeah. And she's done.
But I have to say, if you take all the Christopher Walken episodes in SNL, there's way better ones. I'm just gonna say I don't want to trash it. I was disappointed because I had so much expectations for Chris Walken episodes, Steve. So
nothing beats the cowbell, and solely for that reason. Like I don't remember any of the other sketches.
Dude, the one where he plays the pervert that gets you into his apartment, and it's always like the glove thing. You remember, like the hand and shit.
The Continental that was in this episode.
Yeah,
this was the first time in this episode, but the Peacock won't show it.
What?
They will not show it.
Okay, see, well, Peacock. Now you're on notice. We put multiple platforms on notice. Peacock, again, you're back in our fucking crosshairs because. That's insane. You're on the internet. Remember when the internet was for us to see fucked up shit and like shit that was too hot for TV? Now's the time. Fuck all this bullshit.
Oh, cute little puppies. The next clip. Oh, scat porn.
Mm-hmm. It's 90s. Scat man. Skip it up, beat on boat.
You know who probably wasn't watching this episode hosted by Christopher Walken with musical guest by Rait in 90?
Scatman Carruthers?
Probably Tom Cruise or Michelle Pfeiffer because they were busy winning Golden Globe Awards.
Steve, you're being glib. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't be glib.
It was the 47th Golden Globe Awards, and he was nominated and won for Born on the 4th of July, and Michelle Pfeiffer won for The Fabulous Baker Boys. But Al Pacino was nominated, Sea of Love, never seen it, Jack Lemmon for Dad, Daniel Day-Lewis for My Left Foot, and Robin Williams for Dead Poet Society. For the actresses, it was Sally Field, Still Magnolias, Jessica Lange in Music Box, Andie MacDowell, Six Lives in Videotape, and Liv Ullmann, The Rose Garden. I totally missed most of that shit. The only one that I've seen beginning to end is Born on the 4th of July.
I saw Sex, Lies, and Videotape because it came on like a channel that showed nudity when I was a teenager. And because of the title, I assumed there would be nudity in it. And really, it's just about James Spader sort of, I feel like, interviewing people about sex, but there's no tits. And as a kid, I hated that, Steve.
This is also the year that Driving Miss Daisy was nominated and shit, and as well as Glory. This was the year Denzel Washington like got the best supporting for his role in Glory. This was also Batman. Jack Nicholson was nominated for Best Actor in Comedy or Musical, but he didn't win. He lost to Morgan Freeman for Driving Miss Daisy.
I don't like that, but I mean, Morgan Freeman, I give him his flowers when you can. I respect that.
If you gotta give me one, just give me one for this one.
But Jack Nicholson is Joker, dude. Nobody talks about it, and it's a goddamn tragedy, Steve.
This is my villain face.
But
this town needs an enema, Steve.
Damn right, with some pinstripes. And 1992, the Dennis Miller Show premiered in syndication. I've never seen one fucking episode. This is, you could say he is like the Chevy Chase of his era, because just like Chevy Chase, he is fortunate to be around very talented people of his era, of his generation. It's good to rub elbows with Bill Murray and Steve Martin and Martin Short, people with talent, people who aren't fucking hacks, who can make you chuckle. When you're Dennis Miller, it's good to know Dana Carvey and Mike Meyer and Chris Farley and Phil Hartman. Yeah. And meanwhile, you're just sucking up all the air in every fucking room you go to, baby.
That's what I feel like. He's just a fucking he's a bummer, dude. He's just like for some, you know who gives me the same energy, who I sometimes love and sometimes hate? Bill Maher. It's like, you just seem like a cocksucker, dude.
Yeah, because I don't know how much of that is shtick and how much of that is like really you. Because some of the things he said and done, I'm like, man, bro, I don't know. I kind of wanted to fuck with you. I thought you was like, got the seat at the table, but like, nah, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Dennis Miller, also, he's gone that route of being like a Fox News person too, I think. So he's another one where it's just like, all right, dude, fuck you.
Yeah. And that's the point of no return. Just ask Stacey Dash.
It's such a shame.
Yeah, she is a shame. Both of them, fucking corny jokes and just fucking confusion. In 1993, Audrey Hepburn, British actress and humanitarian activist, she had died, and I think that was the one from Breakfast at Tiffany's, and that's, if I'm not mistaken. And her sister was Catherine. Both iconic actresses in their own right. And Breakfast at Tiffany's is one of those. You could probably still see women wearing her getup in that movie on Halloween, because it's like one of those timeless deals. It's like a pink getup. There's one specific thing. Like if you saw, and I mean, this is obviously well before our time. I couldn't tell you any other movie she was in, man. But I mean, I do know her, just like I know Bonnie Raitt. I ain't got to watch her material, but like, you're popping to enough people.
I feel like she talk like this, honey.
No, that was Catherine, the one that was shaking and always looking like she is crying. Yeah, it's like shit. Yeah, now she was in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier. R.I.P. by the way. Sidney
Poitier. Dude, I just saw that. What a fucking shit. But I didn't know. Honestly, dude, it's one of those things. I don't want to be like disrespectful, but I actually thought he was dead already. But the dude lived to be like 98, right?
94. And
hey, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's long. You've seen a lot, man. Been through a lot. But yeah, I saw that Catherine Hepburn. I was like, man, she gonna shake the food off that table, man.
Dana Carvey, who we were just talking about, used to do a great Catherine Hepburn. He had like one of his like stand-up specials. He did a lot of this shit, honey. Like he had a good one.
I'm adding that to tonight's playlist. But you know, also on that same day, Bill Clinton is inaugurated as the 42nd U.S. president. I did not inhale.
That was not my bust stain on her dress. I did not bust on her.
Yeah, I feel like I've been to quite a few households in the 90s and seen this picture. It was like I know he had some opponents, people who didn't like him at the time, but man, black folks, man, we treated him like we treat Jim Carrey's and goddamn Larry Bird. This like we thought, hey man, he was on Arsenio playing the saxophone. That's a 2-for. You know how to play the saxophone? That's black as fuck. And you on Arsenio? Shit. Why weren't you on
one
Johnny
of the
Carson?
first presidents I feel like you wanted to hang with? You know
exactly, cuz.
You know,
and he was smoking weed, getting head. He was like one of my uncles. Shit.
And even doing some freak shit. Cigars up the puss, dude. Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, cocktails from the Oval Office. And also another flex, he had Maya Angelou, the iconic, legendary Maya Angelou, who was the first African-American and woman to recite a poem at the inauguration of a U.S. president, man. And still, I rise.
I mean, I'm one of the best, Steve. This is Bill Clinton over here talking to you. And I just got to say, legendary coxman and great president. I mean, it was a great time when this guy was president, dude.
Right time, right place. He was hit.
Yeah.
And like, this is one of those 48 laws of power deals when it's like, know how to use your enemy. He was going up against this elderly senior stuck in his ways. I fought in World War I Bush, and he's like the younger, hipper guy. There's pictures of me floating around as a hippie with my girl smoking at Woodstock type shit. And I'm known for getting ahead. And I was on Arsenio playing the saxophone. So you want me? I'm cool. It's the 90s. Kick it in with this guy. You know what I'm saying? The Razorbacks are winning the championship, my alma mater, or this old motherfucker.
Do you remember the movie John Travolta did back in the day called Primary Colors? That was like him playing an interpretation of Bill Clinton.
With Vernon Jordan played, I think Sidney Poitier was in that, if I'm not mistaken, or I might be getting shit mixed up.
I know Kathy Bates is in it. There's like some like heavy hitters in it, but I always just thought it was kind of like a probably pretty accurate interpretation of who Bill Clinton really was. Like this really good guy. He just like fucking love pussy, y'all.
Yeah.
Anywhere I could get it. Hey, what's up, honey? Ooh. You know, it's like if it's a maid at a hotel, it's some young hottie at one of his fucking rallies or some shit. Bill Clinton that's what I'm saying. You just want to hang out with the guy.
For real. I want some head too. Shit.
Yeah, dude. And he liked McDonald's. Remember that? That was a thing.
Phil Hartman. Yeah. I fucks with some French fries and a blowjob. Shit. Hang out with Bill Clinton's crew. Shit. It's me and Billy.
That's the original McFlurry, Steve.
Man, you know it's good when they start making those animal Muppet baby sounds. Man, she's a keeper. She makes those.
It's the Scooby-Doo haunted house game. Spin the spinner and move through the house with secret booby traps. Shaggy's been trapped. Watch out, Daphne. Good job, Scooby.
Let's see who the ghost really is. The Scooby-Doo haunted house game.
All right, man. So that following a couple years, or 95, Family Matters is airing the episode An Unlikely Match. Andre is one of Urkel's classmates who delights in bullying the nerd. But when Urkel learns that Andre is seriously ill with leukemia, the nerd decides to set aside the past and stage a bone marrow drive to save Andre's life. Man.
Oh, boy. And hold on, Steve. Pause. Sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
So opening scene, Urkel comes into the Winslow household. He's wearing a kilt and he's got a bagpipe vacuum, one of his latest inventions. And it annoys the shit out of Carl per use until he sees that it actually works. So Carl gives it a try and he's getting into it. He's vacuuming. He's doing a jig. He's jigging, vacuuming until the vacuum blows up. And look what you did.
Get out of my house, Steve!
Yeah, dude. I mean, bagpipe vacuum. I don't know if that's one of his best, but he ruins Carl's living room once again. But as we'll soon find out, Carl's living room's kind of fucking drab, Steve. It's a little bit old. It's a little bit fucking dusty.
It's pretty ashy. Need some Vaseline.
But so as we just indicated, Harriet. We show later on, Harriet's in the living room while Carl's on the couch. she's fucking measuring shit. Carl's like, what the fuck is going on here? She's like, I think it's time to redecorate.
Kyle, we need some new upholstery.
I hate this couch, Kyle. I hate these fucking shitty ass plans, Kyle. And Carl's not having it. Carl's fucking a penny pincher, Steve. Like me, I'm afraid to spend a big amount of money. And Carl's not having this, especially when he learns about the bag that Harriet's trying to drop on this. Because she's like, we got $3,000 to spend to redecorate. Carl assumes that's for the whole fucking house. $3,000. What the fuck are you talking about?
Shit, you withholding?
Yeah, where'd you get this? Shit? You selling some pussy, Harriet?
Yeah, what that extra zero? I don't remember no comma.
But, you know, and then she says, house, bitch. We talking about this living room. Fuck the house. $3,000 right here and there. Right here. This couch gone. We're getting it all. And Carl almost fucking has a core. I mean, he's a heavy man anyway. He almost drops.
I work for the Chicago police force, not the Chicago Bulls. God damn it. Who do you think I am?
But still, Harriet's classic Harriet, Steve. You've done your impression many times, and it's very much that Harriet energy that you convey, which is just, Kyle, you're not good enough, Kyle.
It's the same couch we conceived Judy on. By the way, where is Judy? I ain't seen her in 2 seasons. It's like, give my baby back. Don't find her, Kyle.
So we're left with that, and then we cut to school, and at school, Steve's posted up in the boys' room, and he's got his little bag of tricks, which is really just like a dental hygiene kit. And I gotta say, I was a nerd, Steve, but even me walking in, I mean, that I would have probably given this kid a swirly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he takes his dental health seriously. But in walks Andre and his 2 friends, who each look like they've been held back in school at least 15 times, and they're all smoking with cigarettes.
Oh, and they're doing it aggressive. Like, I get he's doing some nerd shit, but I mean, they're like, yo, kid, to the point they start blowing it on him. And, you know, for the nerd Steve is, I mean, the kid's got some cojones. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, guys, do you know what kind of fucking lung problems I can get off this shit?
Immediately, he turns into a PSA and he starts spraying some Lysol. He's like, do you know the health hazards? And Andre was like, do you know the health hazards of being a nerd? Yeah, I got child support. Good joke.
Also, Dre is, correct me if I'm not, but that's Hakeem from Moesha, correct?
That is Hakeem, and he's no longer with us.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Lamont something.
Lamont Bentley.
Yeah, there we go. But Dre, he's got his little cronies. He's got his little 2 big ass fucking 30-year-old cronies in there. And he says, you know what? Swirly this motherfucker. And Steve's begging for it. He doesn't want it. He even offers, I feel like he says like pants me because he has some like embarrassing undies on or something like that. But nah, fuck all that. Dre's like, swirly. And I gotta say, I never got one, Steve, because I think I was too fat to lift, but what a disgusting thing. As a human, as a man, like as an old dude, if you put my hand in a toilet, I might puke.
It takes a certain level of low life and a bully to even put forth the effort to pull this off. You're dipping a poor child's head into the toilet. And like, don't you have better things? Just like these grown ass bullies in the high school. Don't y'all have kids to take care of?
Finish the cigarette. As a former cigarette smoker, just fucking smoke the cigarette, guys. That's way more fun, way more enjoyable.
Finish school so you can carry out the rest of your probation. Like, these motherfuckers look like they fought in Nam.
Exactly. I mean, the one motherfucker looked like he was a teacher. He just had some fucking like a vest on or some shit. But they swirly Steve. And you know what? He eats that. You know, he gets that swirly, and that sucks. But I got to say, I never saw it. I never saw it happen. I never knew anybody it happened to. But what a gross fucking thing. But what a benign thing, too. I'd rather take a swirly than just get my ass kicked, I guess. So, but cut to back at the house. Carl's hanging out. And who shows up at the door, Steve? But a legend, Sherman Helmsley, shows up. I didn't know this motherfucker was going to show up. Sherman Helmsley, who hasn't even, that's a cool enough name. But in this show, his name is Captain Savage. And this motherfucker, he's fucking just dripping with fucking leather, Steve. He's got
dressed
leather
like Richard
all over.
Petty.
In fact, he looks like he's got a lot of like high priced merchandise on, which is sort of counter to what we hear Carl talking about. He's like, you know, Carl's the penny pincher. Well, in walks Captain Savage, and even Captain Savage is like, Carl, your shit's busted. Okay.
Because Carl told him, like, man, you got a Porsche, you pulling up dressed like the king of pop. Shit, I'm struggling trying to redecorate my living room. He's like, man, that's too bad because your shit is hurt. But he does drop some science on him, man. Like, dude, you need to hit up these police auctions. I got this Porsche for $5,000, 5 of them things, man. And you know, Carl was just like, so none of the other officers offered more than $5,000. Well, they didn't because I ordered them not to. Savage.
And motherfucker has a fucking $5 Rolex, Steve. And it isn't one of those janky like Folex shits you buy on the street. It's a real deal one, possibly off a dead body. You know, that's okay though.
Shit, for the low.
Shit still works.
Yeah. How low can you go?
Sidetrack Sally, though, I've always heard of these police auctions, and every once in a while you'll see like an internet story about somebody that bought like a car from one, and then they open the fucking trunk and it actually still has drugs in it, you know, some insane shit. And in my mind, I was like, man, that would be so sick.
Hell yeah.
You know, I don't do coke, but if I got a trunk full that I just found, you know, I might try some.
I wish that happened to me. The one time I got a car from the police auction, it was a Ford Contour that broke down 2 months after I got the bitch.
So you've actually done that?
Well, my grandma did it for me because my Audi was out of commission thanks to Ugly Jason. So I was like, well, you know, I'm a good kid. I'm going to school. My grandma, she always was there for me. So yeah, she went to the police auction thinking, all right, man, he's a college kid. When he gets out, maybe he can afford a better car. Just get him through college. She got it for me. No complaints. You know, she didn't have to do it. And lo and behold, the motherfucker just shuts down when I'm at a friend's house.
Dude, I had that experience. Like I bought 2 cars in LA when I first got there and had some money to do that. And both times dead within 2 weeks. Radiator. Yeah. Dude, it's heartbreaking. But anywho, Carl gets this little bugaboo up his butt. He's like, oh shit, I can go to a police auction.
Whoa.
Fucking get this fucking cheap ass furniture. Hell yeah. Thanks, man. Sherman Helmsley.
Dressed like Richard Petty.
Motherfucker. I mean, I was about to say, is he got the fucking head coach for the USA fucking like basketball team back in the day or some shit? Everything is just fucking leathered out. And I don't even know what that fucking little white shirt, maybe that's just a hoodie, but I mean the dude's just, if that's what you can get a police auction, sign me up, Steve.
It's either that or he came off the fucking racetrack. Turn left, Gerald. Geraldine Darrell.
I stole this off Richard Petty, okay?
Man, now Steve and Laura are in between classes in the hallway, and next to Steve's locker is Roscoe, one of Andre's middle-aged goons. And Laura warns him about the possible swirly that could ensue, but Steve doesn't budge. Yeah, swirly alert. Exactly. Yeah, grow up. That's so fucking. It's TGIF, so I get it, Laura. But Stephen Q. Urkel runs away from no man.
Hell no. That's what I love about Steve, dude. That's why
he's got backbone.
Not you, but that's why I'm sure you would do this too. But this motherfucker will stand up to. We saw that one where he was like towel flipping people and shit, sticking up for himself in the locker room. Same thing. Like, I might be a nerd, but I'm about to try to slap the shit out of you, dude.
Yeah, dude. I play accordion and wear kilts and shit from time to time. And I got a little punk ass car, but like, dude, like, don't flex on me, bro.
Yeah. And Steve says to Roscoe, he's like, look, dude, I've been working out, bro. So that swirly shit, that's all out the window. Fuck all that shit. Where's Dre at? Tell him I said that. And Roscoe's like, man, Dre's been gone, man. He's out, dude. He don't give a fuck.
And like instantly, because like he's been in a hospital. He's got leukemia. And cue the ABC Friday Night Music. Instantly, Urkel feels like shit.
That sucks. Yeah, he's like, what? He's like, man, he don't care nothing about you, man. He's got leukemia. And Steve immediately is like, shit.
I was rehearsing that all night in the mirror.
I mean, dude, I gotta say, dude, I had leukemia. I started to get a little verklempt on this. I was like, oh shit, because Steve immediately does. He's not even like wants to just apologize for. I mean, I guess for saying something about this guy. He wants to try to save this motherfucker's life, dude.
He wants to make a change, Matt.
Dude. And, he feels awful. He was just trash talking this guy, but he didn't want him to get sick. So he's like, I got to cheer this guy up. And I got to say, this episode shows you Steve might be like the Mother Teresa of the 90s, other than Mother Teresa herself.
And MacGyver.
Yes, for sure. MacGyver, hero of Venice, California.
A man of the people, puts others' needs before his own. And Urkel, man, despite this guy lifting him over toilets and having him smelling like Clorox for the last couple of years, he instantly gets the feels. And he's like, man, I got to be there for him. Look at his buddies. They're not even there for their kids. They got warrants. There's nothing they can do for him. But like, I guess I'm the one. I'll step up to the plate. I'll be the man, the nerd man.
And then we cut back. I mean, it's fucked up, man. We'll get into the cancer thing later. But like Carl, we cut to Carl, and hey, man, he got that new shit. He's got some what appear to be like VIP strip club couches, giant dog statue. I think I saw like a greyhound. That light you're showing behind you, and a few other things, dude. Fucking police auction, got it all. He might have been able to refurnish this whole house with all this fucking cool ass shit.
Hey, you forgot the rug from the crime scene.
Oh yeah, with the fucking dead body outline on it. Fuck it.
Yeah, the Winslow living room looks like a 70s porn set now, or a 90s flea market. I mean, they're two in the same shit. Yeah, and
it's very Mexican drug cartel. That's really the vibe I get when I see that,
Yeah, this is Griselda's fucking old lampshade, man. And look at those bullet holes. And Carl, he tries to impress and surprise Harriet when she comes home. And he's like, oh, now open your eyes. She's like, what? She doesn't know what to make of this shit.
Oh,
shit. Ain't that bullet holes in a lampshade? But what kills it for me, she was like, oh, look at that rug. It's a damn man on it.
I mean, everything's fucked up, Steve. The lampshade has a bullet hole in it. There's a dead body outline on the rug. There's the fucking cabinet he got. She just goes over and tries to take the door off. The shit collapses almost.
None of this shit matches.
Buy some good shit, Carl. God damn. You don't got to buy the most rickety, cheap shit.
There's no rhyme or reason to this shit. You got a pleather chair, a red velvet couch with leopard throw pillows, and a rug from a crime scene. And not to mention a porcelain statue of a fucking greyhound. Where you get this from the Clockwork Orange set? Jesus Christ, man.
And then Carl, not only does he fucking do this, first of all, he tells her, she's like, how much did all this shit cost, Carl? And he's like, hey, Harriet, this all costs $312, which is like $312 too much, Steve. This shit's like shit in the trash. So she's pissed. And then to even just fucking add on to it, just to stick the knife in and twist it, Steve, Carl starts going straight macho, machismo. And he's like, look, Harriet, I'm Mr. Action, okay? I get shit done. You're missing action. You overthink shit. Nothing ever gets done. And it's like, dude, like I'm married and you say that and she even says it. She's like, oh, the only Mr. action you gonna get in that fucking fucked up couch you bought, motherfucker. So,
yeah. On that funky nut butter ass sofa.
Ugh.
Mr. Action.
So then Mr. Action, I mean, Carl, dude, what are you you're lucky Harriet's fucking bully ass didn't just beat your ass there, but he escapes the ass whooping. And I think is this where we cut back to school? Steve?
Yeah, and what a quick turnaround it is, because we're at the school in the hallway, and Urkel has a "Let's Help Andre" bone marrow drive, and I want to call attention to Laura's goddamn tennis skirt. As a whole, I hate the character, but there was a time in my pre-adolescence that, man, it made the fucking jeans jump. This is one of those moments.
I mean, the skirt, Steve. Even with the leggings, it's just like back in the day, our generation. Oh, I remember those days. Remember St. Rose, Steve? Remember all those girls? The Catholic school. Yeah. I mean, we had that Catholic school, and I mean, boy, I love seeing that. I love when school.
They kept around some of those skirts.
There was a lot of those in Oakmont, Steve. That subdivision, a lot of St. Rose kids, a lot of fucking pervy Matt just trying to get at those Catholic school girls. So, hey, but yeah, Steve's got, I mean, not only is Steve, he's in high school. This guy is a genius, but he knows the cure. He knows what actually will help a guy with leukemia, which I had leukemia, Steve. Whenever I got it, I didn't know what cured it, because for anybody that doesn't know what leukemia is blood cancer. It's not like your bones or a big ass mass in your body that's like a cancer. It's your fucking blood. So that's fucking scary. So for me, I didn't get a bone marrow transplant. I got a stem cell transplant, but it's basically the same process. So Steve already knows this, and he's getting as many people that are of age, which you have to be 18 to get on this donor list, because Dre needs to get a bone marrow transplant. And I got to say, dude, that one, they nailed that. They put awareness to this shit, because the same thing that saved Dre's life in this episode is what saved my life. That same kind of database of donors. My shit wasn't called whatever the organization was in this. My place was called Be the Match, which, shout out to bethematch.org. Everybody, if you want to be a bone marrow donor and you're 18 and not sick, you can sign up right there. You just have to give a blood, like you're giving blood, even just a little sample of it, and you're on the list, and you might save somebody's life. So bethematch.org. I just have to say that. But Steve's getting these people signed up, and it's especially more important because Dre's African-American, and it's harder for because if I had to explain how they match you, it makes absolutely no sense. Usually somebody like blood or like anything like that, your family members can give you a donation and it'll, take. Not the case with this kind of shit. They just have to go through donors, and I luckily found a match, but there's people, it takes them years to find a match. So Steve knows this, gets extra people to sign up, especially African-American people, have a lot of those in his high school. And this guy is a badass, Steve. I just was like, this episode just made me love Steve. I mean, it's very personal to me, but I was like, man, this guy just, even for a bully, just did everything he could. And he's doing it, dude. These people are all signing up. It's like, hell yeah, Steve. Fuck yeah.
And the fact that this is one of the later seasons, man, I want to say season 5 or 6. And these are my favorite Family Matters episodes, the ones that touch on real life, man. The robot Urkel and the Stefan Urkel shit, that's entertaining. But the core for me, this is season 1 and even the early seasons with Urkel, when it was still reality based, are my favorite, man, because it's relatable, man. And as we know, it's relatable, man, to one of my best friends. And that I like the fact that it's also educational, man. They didn't of course they have to condense it in 30 minutes, but they didn't really skew actual the shit that is important.
I mean, they make it seem like, if some people give a donation, you're going to find a match.
Yeah.
There are people, dude, that I've met that it took them 10 years. I was taking drugs and shit and just maybe not dying, and they get that opportunity. Here's how crazy it is, Steve. My mom and dad couldn't be a match because their DNA is it's 50% my mom, 50% my dad. So that's not enough. So they thought my sister might be able to do it for me. but she was only a 50% match because it is what it is. The lady who was my 100% DNA match to give me stem cells lives in Australia. It's like wow. She's in her 50s or 60s, I think. Hey, Gayleen, if you're listening or watching, I love you. But they found a match for me in Australia. And it was nobody, I'd never know him, none of that stuff. But it's that hard. And
shout out to Gayleen.
Hell yeah. Gayleen Rogers, she's a badass. She fucking trapezes and shit. She does all this crazy shit. She lives in Australia. She saved my life. So this episode is super personal, but I think they got across, then they definitely brought awareness to the fact that you can get on a donor list, and it just it's cool to see, dude. It means a lot. And it's like very important that anybody knows that, because it's like literally as easy as just giving a little vial of blood. And if you get picked, doing a couple things where they actually pay for everything. If you're a match and they bring you to a place and they do all this insane shit, and just your blood can like it killed cancer in my body just from that. So it's crazy. And it was cool to see. I got emotional, but Steve does it, dude. And then after we see him like get this rally and get all these people donating, we go back to Carl and his fugly ass living room, just kind of like coming to the realization that his stinginess just completely fucked up. He clouded his judgment. And Harriet comes down and she's sort of calmed down too. And they're sitting around and they just sort of like they do what Harry and Carl always do. And they're like, you know what? We just sort of overreacted, but I think maybe we just need to come to these decisions together, Yeah. Maybe we don't buy drug cartel furniture to be cheap. Maybe we buy like a couch and then maybe wait a little bit and figure out what we're going to do next. Maybe we don't put all this effort into this and almost kill each other.
Now, we all know what Harriet really came down that stairs for. She wanted some Winslow weenie.
Come up to bed, Kyle.
Kyle, you want a little coochie?
Come fuck me on this drug cartel couch, Kyle.
Yeah. Go ahead and get it. With your Tony Braxton bop. Yeah.
So they go up to fuck, which is honestly one of probably the most disgusting things to see and or hear, but they're getting it on. And the next day, Steve is back in that bathroom where he got that swirly washing his hands. And who comes through that door but Dre himself, dude? It seems like I think a little bit of time's passed.
Yeah.
I think it is indicated. But Dre looking a little bit sick, which you will. I mean, I got that when I got my shit done. It took me years to recover. So Dre, he's back in school immediately.
Were you missing the lampshades too?
What's that?
Were you missing the lampshades too?
What do you mean?
Oh, the eyebrow. Did you have the Whoopi Goldberg going? Or?
Honestly, most of when I got my shit done, when my hair fell out, not all of it fell out. So I kept all this. Okay. My beard hair and shit fell out, and then my hair it wasn't like I just went bald, but there just came to a point where it was like I'd wake up and a lot of my hair would just be out, like falling out. So I looked like I had fucking mange or some shit. And I just got one of the nurses was like, I'll shave your head for you if you want. And I was just like, yeah, fuck it. But I will say when I see photos of that, I mean, I was recovering from cancer and I had all these drugs in me. But as a bald man, I pray to God I at least keep some kind of hair, Steve, because without any hair on my head, I look so much like a penis that it's just uncomfortable. I mean, it's really, I look like a thumb, basically.
Hey, I'm in the same boat, man. These days I got the rooftop missing, but fuck it. I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off because you don't want to see this bald head with these ears. Goddamn.
Yeah, but no, I didn't lose all of it. But Dre's there, and he's really thankful. He's like, man, he's of course. But not only did Steve do this, dude, Steve found him a match. He did that. So Steve saved this guy's life. And Dre's like, dude, thank you, one, but like, why the fuck? Why'd you do that, dude? I was mean to you. I fucking was a bully to you.
Like, I dipped your head in turtle water for like your whole high school career. Like, and Steve, being the bigger guy, he's like, this is more than pranks. This is your life we talking about, man. Like, yeah, you piss me off from time to time. Well, a lot of the times, but actually 132 times if we're counting. But like, dude, I don't want you to die. And Steve Urkel is definitely not Steve Garrett, because if you even half fuck with me one time in high school, I wanted you to go immediately, as T.I. would say, expeditiously. but I'm not Steve Urkel.
I mean, dude, like one of these high school bullies, I'd be like, I would probably be like, go die. Like
Read
like
Lawless. That. If you ever see this, fuck you. And I can DM my location, motherfucker. Good luck on trying to be the mayor of Perrysburg in 2024 and 2028. Because I'm sure you're still living there, you dumb son of a bitch. Fuck you, Andy Griffith, fucking basketball player. I like Andy Griffith. I don't even know why I threw him in there, but fuck Reed Lawless.
Okay, yeah, fuck you, Reed. Fuck you, you bitch. You ain't no Steve Urkel, because Steve Urkel's out there saving lives. And Dre completely, obviously, thankfully, turned his opinion over. He's thankful, and he's like, Steve, you know what, man? What can I do? I'm gonna buy you some lunch, and you get to sit at the cool table with me and my 30-year-old buddies.
Yeah,
how about
warrants.
That? Yeah. Hey, actually, they're going through some divorces, so maybe if you know anything about divorce law, Steve, maybe help them out, because
there's always an ulterior motive. Yeah, that's all that was.
But then after this, that's basically the end of the episode. But like every very special episode, we got to have like a quick aside at the end where Jaleel and Kelly sit down and just basically bring awareness more to, I think it's called the National Marrow Donor Program. And I didn't look up to see if that still exists, but bethematch.org definitely does exist. It's the same thing. And yeah, dude, I definitely got emotional watching it, but it's, to me, as somebody that went through this shit, first of all, fuck cancer. I beat it.
Fuck cancer, for real.
Because of shit like this, it brought awareness to leukemia. Like, dude, when I thought of leukemia, bro, I thought that was some shit that little kids got. You see all those commercials and it's like childhood leukemia, and it's always like a little cute kid that's going through something.
Like an 8-year-old, yeah.
I didn't know adults got that shit. So when I got it, the shit, man, we could have an episode about how crazy that shit was, but shit like this TV show bringing awareness to it is why when I got it, all this shit was to the point where it saved my life. Because back then it wasn't a done deal. Things like this made sure that technology got to the point where it made people like me, I'm here, dude. So,
and I'm glad you are,
Steve
man.
Urkel, dude.
Yeah, man. Urkel, a man of the people. He wanted to lead the righteous path in a way.
I mean, goddamn, is he a nice guy? Goddamn. There's kids that go fucking Columbine, and then there's just Steve Urkel who's out there taking L's and saving lives at the same time. So shout outs to we all need to be more like Steve Urkel, dude.
Yeah, my home ec teacher never gave me a swirly, but I still hope her big tits make her fall down a flight of stairs. But in 1995, on January 20th, Murder in the First premiered in theaters. An eager and idealistic young attorney defends an Alcatraz prisoner accused of murdering a fellow inmate. The extenuating circumstances: his client had just spent over 3 years in solitary confinement. Starring Christian Slater, Kevin Bacon, Gary Oldman, William H. Macy, and R. Lee Ermey is in the movie.
R. Lee Ermey, you mean?
R. Lee Ermey, yeah.
I don't. For some reason, I remember this name, but I don't remember this movie.
Like, as I was reading it, preparing for this, I'm gonna see if it's available because it seems interesting. I like Christian Slater, despite being a modern
Christian Slater and Kevin Bacon. That's like, I feel like that's like the clone. They're meeting each other. To me, they were always like competing for parts back in the 90s.
They're around the same age, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like Bacon might be older. William H. Macy, he's an unsung hero. Little Bill. Yeah, man. Gary Oldman, always kind of like creeping somebody out in the Willem Dafoe kind of way.
He thinks it's white boy day. He thinks it's white boy day.
Height, pussy, ass, everything. Only part in the movie kills it. Only part in the movie.
You want to talk Christopher Walken? I mean, it's rough to watch if you're fucking to hear all the crazy racist shit he's saying. But man, Chris Walken in True Romance, that's one of the most insane performances he's ever given.
Yeah. Not enough said about that movie either, man. That's one of my favorite movies of the 90s of all time, really.
Oh man, especially when you see how many like stars are in it, and you know Quentin Tarantino. I mean, when you watch it, you know Quentin Tarantino wrote that shit. It's just so obvious. But man, I'm with you, dude. That's it's I don't think it's unknown. I think a lot of people know about it, but man, it's underrated. That's for sure.
It doesn't like whatever credit and clout that it gets. I feel like it deserves more.
I mean, fucking Kevin Bacon, Patricia Arquette, Tony Soprano, Dennis Hopper, Christopher Walken, fucking
Balky.
Wow, yeah, Balky, fucking White Boy Day. What's Gary Oldman? The list goes on and on.
Michael
fucking
Rappaport.
Drew Carey's brother's in it as a very fucking aggressive bodyguard. Somebody that was in Frasier who plays a guy who Daphne almost married is the guy Balky works for. I mean, the list goes on and on. And Michael Rappaport, like him or hate him. Brad Pitt, a young Brad Pitt smoking weed.
Yeah. This is young Brad with hair.
It's fucking disrespect my I fucking kill you, bro. Dude, that movie, when Tony Soprano is whooping Patricia Arquette's ass in that hotel room, that's one of the most brutal beatdowns for any like man or woman. But man, the fact he's just whooping some chick's ass, it's like, fuck, bro.
And it was very convincing. Like he was not going to let her leave that room alive.
Who fucking was that? Tony Scott that made that? I think he directed it. I don't know, but man, that shit. So if you haven't seen that, the guarantee, if you don't like that, stop listening to this podcast too. I don't got nothing for you.
Because you're not going to like us.
Yeah. Fuck you.
But that same day in 95, Joey Badass, American rapper and actor, was born. I'm sure you probably don't fuck with him because he's modern. He's one of these new age 90s rapper guys, but he is reminiscent of a time from the 90s, man. He's one of those guys born in New York, and he's in his 20s, but he's a student of the game. He's a real MC. He's always consistent with the flow. His wordplay, it leaves you wanting more. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like how I would listen to a Redman song for the first time, or a freestyle, or an Eminem freestyle. It's clever, it's witty, man, and it's not just bass heavy. So shout out to Joey Badass, and he plays Inspector Deck in the Wu-Tang Saga on Hulu, man. But in 1996, on January 20th, Saturday Night Live again is airing the episode with musical guest Tori Amos and Alec Baldwin. Now, the main thing that sticks out is the Joe Pesci skit, man. Alan Baldwin, his Robert De Niro is impeccable.
Yeah, dude. And he nails his facial. He does the voice. Exactly. He nails it's the whole package. What do I fucking amuse you? But I love me some Jim Brewer, dude. He might have gone like a little right wing, I think, maybe I've heard, but
crazy as cat shit. Yeah.
I still, dude, the old taking that away, blocking it's just
like blocking him. It's like blocking the Alec Baldwin shit or blocking the Chris Benoit shit. Like if we're talking like what he came here to do, I get it. If we're talking
I can fully, like, other than Kramer's one, I didn't really like Kramer anyway, but I don't fuck with him. But like, even, I mean, it's not like a big surprise because they still play some of his songs, but I still listen to R. Kelly and shit. I don't have to know. I don't really give a fuck. I'll still
selectively
listen to. I don't give a fuck when I listen to the song, but I don't support anything he does. But there's some fucking heaters, Steve.
Yeah, we all know. I mean,
he just can't help it. But they play Michael Jackson on the goddamn radio all the time.
Yeah, you're comparing apples and ape shit. That's a whole nother 5-part miniseries.
Yeah, I took, I drank a couple of Cayman Jacks, Steve. So I don't, let's retract that, R. Kelly.
I'm sipping on brandy because I want to be down. I want to be down. All right, but yeah, man. Also, they did a Bill Brasky skit in this, man, and that's one of my favorite recurring sketches of all time.
Bill Brasky. Was Goodman in it?
He was not. Okay. Alec Baldwin, he was one of those hosts where, like, every now and then, if he hosted, you might get some Bill Brasky.
Do you remember? This has nothing to do with this episode with him, but do you remember Canteen Boy by any chance?
With Adam Sandler, yeah.
What happened to that? Do you think they show that on Peacock?
They do.
Oh, they show Canteen Boy?
I think it was recurring, but I don't know if they show each time, but I do remember seeing at least one of them.
There's one where Alec Baldwin's like taking them out on a camping trip, and he even like inserts his penis into Canteen Boy or like rubs his boner on him or something. So,
wow. Canteen Boy.
Canteen Boy.
Yeah, and that was in the early 90s, man. So I was like, yeah.
I do not like this.
But in 1996, on January 20th, Fox introduces its Fox Tracks Glowing Puck during its telecast of the 46th National Hockey League All-Star Game. I didn't watch the shit, but apparently it was a eyesore because, as you could imagine, if you're watching, 3 periods of 20 minutes of this shit, it could probably lead to seizures.
Yeah, I mean, they saw what like was happening in video games because that was always the thing when you played like a hockey video game, they'd sort of like highlight a puck. And I remember there was a game on N64 called Wayne Gretzky, I think 3D hockey or something. And they did this. Like they made the hockey puck glow and it had like a trail on it and shit. And that's essentially what this was. And I always remember thinking like they just ripped that shit off a video game. But I don't know, man. Fuck it. It's hot. If you're watching hockey, you already are taking a loss, dude. So
yeah, there's some brain dead in there. Yeah, it's Canadian soccer.
I still don't get it. I respect like the funny, like the ass whoopings and shit. And there was an era of hockey like with Eric Lindros in Philadelphia and the Philadelphia Flyers and the
Mark Messier.
The Mean Street Bullies or whatever it was or whatever the fuck it was. But I've had friends that love hockey and I respect their fandom of it. But if you ask me privately or on a podcast, I could give 2 shits about some hockey, Steve.
It's just, it's not my bag. Respectfully.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I can't do it.
Hey, maybe if I was from Canada.
I love that. I almost say Canada just naturally. And I feel like they need to change their name to that.
Man, and they're so cool, and they got a sense of humor that they would be okay, eh?
Yeah, sounds good, eh?
Yeah, let's make some maple syrup and watch Bret Hart matches. But on that same day in '96, U.S. Ladies Figure Skating Championship is won by Michelle Kwan, and I never cared for that shit outside of the Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding, but I remember seeing pictures of her. And I keep in mind, I was a teen who wasn't getting the sex. I was like, man, that's a cute little ice skating chick, man. And she's very petite. I could probably do that Ving Rhames shit to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do the splits.
Stacey Adams.
Yeah. Take them skates off now. Can you skate on this?
I can't listen to this.
Yeah.
I mean, she's hot, Steve. I mean, figure skaters, the female figure skater, I feel like underappreciated. They got that rump sometimes too,
Some just like those gymnasts. They up here, they're usually kind of, but like they got a little. There's some curvature. That's what
they'll throw a fuck on. They'll throw a fuck on you, Steve. They'll do some fucking triple Lutz shit on your dick. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, I didn't even know origami sex was a thing. But shit. Thank you, Christy Yamaguchi. You enlightened me.
Christy Yamaguchi, Steve.
Ooh, She's actually going to be in my Dickelodeon series too. But in 1997, Daft Punk releases their debut album, Homework. And the singles are Defunk, Around the World, Burnin', and Revolution 909. Around the World is the main one for me. And I wasn't huge on Daft Punk, but they were a big deal.
I mean, you give me a hit of acid, now it loves me some Daft Punk, I bet. But just in general, I just don't. Unless it's Prodigy, I'm not fucking with house music.
Yeah. I would never go to an EDM show or like, I can't. I'm 30.
I would on acid, Steve. If I still was of the age to take some acid or some mushrooms, hell yeah.
You must be a psycho.
Dude, I mean, I just feel like, especially Daft Punk, because they got all that fucking like crazy mask shit on. Like, you'd fucking trip balls.
I know, and I can't do hallucinogenics and be around people. I tried that in Bowling Green with Doherty and what was our guy from Cincinnati? Kyle. It was Kyle and Doc, and we were out. Yeah. We did some shrooms at the house on Napoleon, and then we went out to a bar. It was empty at first, but over time, people started coming in, and me, Doc, and Kyle looked at each other. It was like synchronized. We just like, nope, let's get the fuck out of here. So I think we called either Hurt or Carnicom. They picked us up, man, and we went back so we could enjoy the rest of this ride. But yeah, I can't be in public or around people I don't know when I'm no.
I could never. I can't even do that shit anymore. But like back then, that was like me and Jordan and our little crew of people. We used to go see like movies on that shit. That was like a test of wills. We used to do that shit all the fucking time, bro.
If I was on that trip with y'all, I would have been like, dude, I'm staying here.
Dude, we went, Steve, here's 2 movies we saw straight up tripping nuts. Hostel, which is an insane horror movie about torture. And then we saw this movie, and Steve, when I say that it was one of the most immersive cinematic experiences I've ever had, we took acid. We went to see a movie called The Hills Have Eyes. They came out, I think, in probably like 2002 about like nuclear mutant hillbilly people that terrorize this family. And when I say, again, fully immersed in this movie, Hurt was sitting right next to me in the Woodland Mall Theater. You remember that shitty rinky-dink theater they had in the Woodland Mall in Bowling Green?
Okay, yeah.
Little shitty theater. One of those like classic 3 area, you know, it had the seating on the side, aisle, middle seats, aisle, other side. Me and Hurt have aisle seats. I'm sitting in the aisle. Hurt's right next to me. We're watching this movie. Everybody else is across the aisle someplace, tripping nuts. There's a moment in this movie where a guy like comes through a wall. I shouldn't say his name. I'll have to bleep that. But you know who I'm talking about. Him jumps up, and in the middle of a theater, us all tripping balls is like, ah! And everyone turns around and is like looking at him. But one of the most funniest, hilarious times of my life. And yeah, we used to like terrorize ourselves, dude. We would like do psychedelics and almost just do normal things to just like, that was the thing almost. Like we'd watch movies or we'd go like, you know, we'd do what you were saying. I did the bar. I didn't even go to bars. And sometimes they drag me to that shit. And it was always a shit show.
Yeah. When it comes to shrooms or any like, no, man.
I'm done with that now. I stress too much. I'm too in my head now. And if I did it, guaranteed bad trip. There's just no way.
All that's going to happen is every person that I see, I'm going to be like, oh, do they know? They probably know. They're looking at me. Oh,
I'm 40 years old. What? I'm going to get stuck like this. I can already see it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Unless I'm in a mansion in or in like a beach someplace and there's nobody that I don't know that's not, you know, that's in on it, that we're all doing it. Maybe if I just know, but even I just don't think it's going to happen.
I gotta know everybody in this motherfucking cabin.
Yeah, right.
No strangers, because I'm gonna feel insecure about the one person that it could be 10 of my friends that have known me for a decade and a half, and that one person I'm be like, man, they want to kill me. They probably they think I'm weird, huh?
Yeah, I'm acting weird, man. Fuck. I'm 40 years old, man. I fucking shouldn't be like this. Why am I like this? Who is that? Oh God, he's looking like exactly that. That's what's going to happen. Because sometimes I eat an edible, same thing. I go into like an existential crisis. So I can only imagine, but I don't even know where this led
from Daft Punk.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, Daft Punk. But you know what? Shout out to Daft Punk because they're still around. But me, I'm just not into some house music, Steve. I'm just not into it. So I can't. It just is what it is. Give me some Prodigy or suck my dick.
As a genre, I'm good on, but around the world, that should go hard. It's like the Blockbuster or Best Buy grab chart or grab bucket, where it's like, okay, I'm not huge on these films, but it's 3 for $20. So like, fuck it, I'll get it. And I feel like that about Daft Punk. Like, I'm not big on EDM or house, but shit, they got that track Around the World and they got some other shit. But
they one more time.
Yeah, man. But in 98, on January 20th, Warner Brothers TV network begins its Tuesday night programming, and the staple of it is Dawson's Creek premiering on this night. Never seen one episode, but I fucks with some Katie Holmes. Go Ohio.
Toledo legend. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was what it was. That was just for me. If you take me back then and you ask me, what do you think of Dawson's Creek? I'd be like, that's for chicks.
Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah.
I don't need no Dawson. I don't need no Pacey. I know who they are. But give me some Varsity Blues Vanderbeek, and then we can start fucking around then.
It was exotic. It was sexual. I give it a fucking 10.
There goes my hero. I don't want your life.
Any callbacks, honorable mentions, takeaways? Matt G.
I mean, I just got to say shout out to bethematch.org again. I will just keep singing their praises because they really did, Steve, save my life. So if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for people bringing awareness to leukemia for little kids and adults, I would not be sitting here with you. So I'm thankful for that. I'm forever grateful for that. And it was cool to see something that I loved as a kid bring light to it and realize, today really that because of some shit like that, I'm around. So shout out to Steve fucking Urkel. Shout out to fucking Steve Garrett because we got to do this shit because of that shit. So it's all a circle, Steve. It's a circle of life. You know what I'm saying?
Circle of Steves.
I love Steves. People that called Steve, people named Steve. They've done me right in my life.
Man, so. Word to Steve Martin, word to Steve Harvey. Player.
I'm from Cleveland now.
They have a show, by the way, with him as a judge, and I'm like, y'all getting carried away.
That. Dude, fuck that. Fuck, Judge Mathis is the only judge, okay? At this point, give me Judge Mathis. I don't need Steve Harvey being a judge now.
Yeah, I'm cool with him hosting Family Feud, but like him what the fuck what are you passing judgment on? Like, where you don't have the... All right, man. My thing was in 92 on January 20th, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air airs the episode Jeffrey Cleans Up. And this was further proof that Jeffrey is not lighting the loafers, man. He has a tryst. He falls in love with the maid of the neighbor who's played by the mom on Friday.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Anne-Marie Horsford. But unbeknownst to him, she's really not the maid. She's the owner of the house. But she was just playing down because she's really digging Jeffrey's vibe. And he was let down. He's like, man, I thought you was on my same level. I can't be dating up, man. You gonna look down on me like a servant. But we never see her again. But I do remember this episode because Jeffrey was getting his funky on, getting his groove back.
Yeah, so fucking Craig's mom, dude. Fucking Craig's mom. Hey, girl. Dude, she's looking sexy back then. So, hey, Jeffrey, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, player. I'm sorry,
Jiggling, baby.
Playboy.
Yeah. I like that little
Let me get in
gnawing
between
section.
them sheets, my love.
Yeah, there you go. But man, please make sure to check out Crushgasm as well as Over the Culture and B3F podcast. This is Steve G and Matt G with Happen in the 90s.